Hi, if you're looking for best ways to correct a child's behavior without eating or shouting, then this video is for you. Make sure you watch it to the end. On today's episode of Early Years Maths TV, I'm going to be talking about best ways to correct a child without eating, shouting, or yelling. Okay, so today's episode is all about the best way to correct a child, whether you're the parent, you're the guardian, or teachers of children. The best way to correct a child without yelling, shouting, or screaming. Okay, so tip number one. You as the adult, you must show and tell the child the behavior you want them to exhibit. Okay, so the first one, if you want a child, for example, to talk or speak quietly, it has to start from you as the adult. Okay, so you as the adult must display to this child this behavior you're talking about. Okay, so it could be simple thing when you're communicating with this child or you're communicating with other siblings, and then you explain to the child that, okay, this is the behavior I'm talking about. This is how we speak quietly to our friends. Okay, it is really important that you as the adult, whether you're the parents, guardian, or teachers of these children, that you reiterate this behavior. Okay, you have to show and tell the child the behavior you're talking about. Okay, there's no point you showing and you're not telling the child this behavior you're talking about. So it is really important. Okay, so step two, okay, you need to set clear and consistent boundaries. Okay, so in relation to the behavior that you want a child to exhibit, you have to set clear and consistent boundary. Okay, so you need to let the child know. For example, if you want the child to tidy up, you need to say to the child, it is time to tidy up. Okay, so for example, it could be simple thing as the child tidy up their room 5 p.m. Okay, so you have to be consistent about it. 5 p.m. every day, you have to make sure that you remind them to go and tidy up their room. This is very important. Okay, you have to be consistent and you have to be clear, because like I used to say, young children or children, they watch you, and if you're not clear, if you're not consistent in your rules, they are not going to be serious. Okay, so it could also be rules, for example, around screen time. Okay, like for example, you want them to put their phone away at certain time. So it could be simple thing, okay, 8 p.m. every day, and you have to reiterate this time, 8 p.m. Do not change it for half 8 or 9 p.m. It is really important. You have to have clear and consistent rule. That's step 2. Okay, step 3, you need to let children know the consequences for a behavior. Okay, so if they misbehave, you need to let them know the consequences for that behavior. Okay, so and take away the privileges. Okay, in relation to consequences, it could be simple thing as taking away privileges. Okay, let's say for example, you want a child to tidy up their room and they refuse to tidy up their room, so you can simply say, you are not going to have your iPad for 2 hours. Okay, or you're not going to have your iPad for today because you did not tidy up your room. Okay, one thing I'm going to let you know is, do not just take the iPad away from them or their phones away from them without telling them the reasons. This is really important, because if you take the iPad or phones away from them without telling them the reasons why you're taking this away, the aim has been defeated. It is really important you let them know that I am taking your iPad away or your phones away from you because you refuse to tidy up your room or because you refuse to listen to me. It is really important, and this has really worked. Okay, so that next time the child will know that yes, they have to do what they're being told if they don't want to miss their privileges. Okay, so that's step 3. It is really important. Let them know the consequences and the privileges that you'll be taking away from them if they misbehave. Okay, step 4, you have to catch them being good. It is really important. Positive reinforcement. I talked about positive reinforcement in my previous video. I'm going to leave the link down below for you to check out. It is really important. It's not just all the time when the children misbehave that you comment. In relation to, if you want to teach children good behavior, whenever they display good behavior that you're looking for, more, positive reinforcement, encourage them, catch them when they're being good. Like for example, you always want a child to tidy up, and then one time this child tidy up, you just have to catch the child and say, oh, well done for tidying up, I am so proud of you. Or because you tidied up your room today, you're going to get an ice cream. It is going to really encourage the child to tidy up. So it is really important. Step 4, you need to catch them when they are being good. It's not all the time when children display negative behavior that we comment all the time. We have to catch them when they are good, because it is really important that you have to give positive reinforcement or positive feedback when they are doing something that is right. Okay, so it is really important you catch them when they are doing something that is good. Okay, and step 5, you need to give them your attention. Okay, sometimes children might display some behaviors because they need attention. Okay, so it is really important. I will cite an example. For example, maybe you have a child throwing tantrums because the child is tired, the child wants to take a nap. So you as the adult, you need to pay attention to this. But if you ignore, the child is being tired, the child is throwing tantrum, it could lead to something else like the child throwing things. So it is really important that we give young children, or even children above the age of 6, you give them the attention that they need. This is really important. Okay, step 6. It is really important that you hear children out. Okay, so especially when there is a misbehavior, you need to hear these children out. And sometimes, as parents, we have to be mindful of this. We might be saying, like, if something happens at home, we might be thinking that, oh, it's one child that did this, and it might not be that child. So it is really important that we hear children out whenever there's a misbehavior. There may be a reason for this. It is really important that we hear your children out. Okay, it should be, we should give children the opportunity whenever there is a misbehavior as well. Okay, and step 7, okay, this is really important. Know when not to respond. Okay, sometimes as parents or as teachers, it is not all the time that we have to respond to children. Okay, you just pass your instructions and you just move away from it. You want them to tidy up, you just say, okay, now it is time for you to tidy up your room now, and that is it. Do not listen to children and say, oh, I'll do it in an hour, and then you as the adult be forced, okay, yeah, it's okay, you can do it in an hour's time. It is really important. Know when not to respond. You might ask them to tidy up their room and say, no mommy, no daddy, no auntie, I don't want to do it. You just say it and then you move on. Tidy up your room now. And that is it. Do not look at their facial expressions, because sometimes as adults, when you're giving these children instructions, you look at their facial expressions whether they are happy or not, and when they are not happy, you tend to change your mind. Oh, it's fine, it's grand, you can do it. No, it is really important that we have to stick to whatever we want them to do. Okay, so that's it. I hope with these few tips I've been able to highlight ways you can be able to correct a child's behavior without shouting, without yelling, and without eating them. Until I come your way next time, I still remain Elias Matis TV. Take care and bye.